Hello dear students, this is Parag here from Tayal Coaching Classes. So today the topic that we are going to discuss is about plants. Okay, so you have studied the classification of living organisms, in which you saw that the fourth kingdom is the Kingdom Plantae. Now what are the main characteristics of plants? They are mostly multicellular, sometimes they can be unicellular as well, which we see in algae. Second important character is they are eukaryotic. So they have a specialized cell structure wherein they have a well-defined nucleus. Okay. They also have double membrane bound organelles that are present in them. Okay. Other than that, what are the important characteristics? They are photosynthetic. That is, their mode of nutrition is photosynthetic. That is, they can carry out the photosynthesis because they have a special organelle called plastid. Okay, so plastid, which type of plastid they have specifically for photosynthesis? The answer is the chloroplast. So they have chloroplast. Chloroplast has the pigment chlorophyll, because of which they are able to trap the sunlight and synthesize their own food. Okay, so they are autotrophic basically. Then other than that, they are non-motile, they cannot move. They have two systems. The system below the soil is the shoot system, a root system, and the one above the soil is the shoot system. Okay, and what are the different parts that they have? They have leaves, stem, branches, fruits, flowers, etc. But do we get to see all these parts in all the plants? So the answer is no. And we get answers to these questions when we study the classification in the detail. And there is one important last characteristic that I would want you to know, that plants have heteromorphic alternation of generations. That is, they show a sporophytic stage as well as a gametophytic stage during their life, and they are distinctly represented by different structures. In some plants the sporophyte is dominant, and in some plants the gametophyte is dominant. And also there are many other things that we will be discussing later in the upcoming lectures. Now, so let's start with the classification of Kingdom Plantae. It has two subkingdoms, subkingdom Cryptogams and subkingdom Phanerogams. When we talk about the Cryptogams, they are spore producing organisms. When we say that they are spore producing organisms, that means their reproduction or propagation occurs via spores and not seeds. So these cryptogams do not produce seeds, do not produce flowers, do not produce the fruits. They only produce spores and reproduce by them. Okay, so their main way of reproduction is by spores. And when we talk about the phanerogams, they are the seed producing plants. That is, they have fruits, they'll have flowers, and they'll have seeds, and their propagation occurs via seeds. So these are the two main subkingdoms. Then in the cryptogams, you have three divisions: Thallophyta, Bryophyta, Pteridophyta. Thallophyta is the first division, which has algae. So all the algae come in Thallophyta. As the name suggests, they have a thallus-like body. Okay, so they don't have specific structures like well-defined roots, well-defined shoots or branches and leaves, but they have a simple thalloid body. Okay, and that's why all the simple algae come in this particular division. So there are three classes in it: Chlorophyceae, Phaeophyceae and Rhodophyceae. So Chlorophyceae are the green algae, the Phaeophyceae are the brown algae, and the Rhodophyceae as the red algae. You can remember it, chloro means green, rhodo means are red, you can remember it, so Phaeo becomes the brown one. Then moving on to the division Bryophyta, you have mosses, liverworts and hornworts in this. In the division Bryophyta, they have stem-like, root-like, leaf-like structures and do not have vascular bundles. Okay, the first vascular bundles appear in the next division, which is Pteridophyta, which have ferns and its allies. In the Bryophyta, there are three classes: Hepaticae, Anthocerotae and Muscae. Hepaticae is also known as Merchantiopsida. The Anthocerotae is also known as Anthocerotopsida, and the Muscae are also known as Bryopsida. In the Hepaticae, there are the liverworts. In the Anthoceratae, there are the hornworts, and in the Muscae, you have the mosses plants. Okay, so this is about Bryopsida. When we talk about the Pteridopsida, there are ferns and their allies. So the classes are Psilopsida, Lycopsida, Sphenopsida and Pteropsida. So these are the 4 classes under the division Pteridophyta. Pteridophytes were the plants which for the first time showed vascular bundles or vascular system. Okay, then in the phanerogams, you have only 2 divisions, Gymnospermae and Angiospermae. In the Gymnospermae, gymno means naked, spermae means seed. Okay, actually spermae means the marriage. Okay, so they have naked seeds, and Angiospermae they have flowering plants because they have their seeds enclosed inside the fruit. Okay, so in the Gymnosperm there are 4 classes again: Cycadopsida, Coniferopsida, Ginkgopsida and Metopsida. So they have fruits, but the seeds are not inside the fruit, instead the seeds are naked. So you might have seen conifers, their seeds are on the periphery or on the outside of the fruit and not inside. But when we talk about Angiosperms, they have flowers which develop into fruits, and inside the fruit they will have the seed. So these are the flowering plants, that is Angiospermae. So the typical plants, common plants that we see around us belong to the Angiospermae. Now in the Angiospermae there are 2 classes, Monocotyledonae and Dicotyledonae. Monocotyledonae is also known as Liliopsida and Dicotyledonae is also known as Magnoleopsida. Now what are monocotyledons? So monocotyledon, if you take for example take a groundnut, peanut, okay, and you open it, so you see 2 cotyledons in it, so that comes in the Dicotyledonae family. But if you take maize or bajra, can you split the seed into 2 equal halves, as in can you get 2 cotyledons? No. So those plants come under Liliopsida or Monocotyledonae. There are many interesting characters about the Monocotyledonae and Dicotyledonae which are very distinguishing, and we will study them in the later classes. So I hope this classification system is clear to you. So 2 subkingdoms, 5 divisions and multiple classes sum up the story of the classification of the Kingdom Plantae. Thank you.